dish, dish, dish. Make faces at you, no. Classic apple crumble. Love the homely, warm flavours. It's just so comforting for me. Today I wanted to share with you my vegan version. Let's get baking. So I've already got here 3 apples. Now my apples, as you can see, are on the smaller side of medium. I've got a mixture of apples, so you can use any apples you want depending on what you've got at home or what you get in the shops. It will just change the flavour of the apple filling itself. It doesn't matter at all. So I've got 3 apples. I have peeled them and cored them and cut them into 8ths. And I've got them in this bowl here. In there, I'm going to put some cinnamon and some brown sugar. And all I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to toss them around a little bit, get my hands dirty, get them in there. You can obviously use a spoon, or you can just toss them like this. You don't want to get grubby at all. And that is it for the filling. That's going to go straight in my pan where I'm going to make my crumble. I'm going to reuse this to make the crumble topping. So I'm just going to lay my apples down so that they're more flat in the pan. Right, done them all. Just arrange them, just give them a bit of a squish. I'm just going to give my hand a little wipe before we go on. Right, so into the same bowl, because we're going to use the same flavours, I'm going to put some oats. These are gluten-free oats. Some ground up almonds. Now, without the flour, I've actually found that the almonds make a really good flour substitute, but obviously it doesn't have any raising agent. And because of that, I'm going to put a little bit of baking powder in as well, just to help it become a bit fluffier, a bit lighter. I'm also going to put in some brown sugar. I always find brown sugar is much nicer in crumbles. It gives it a much more caramelly flavour, and I really like that about it. And my last ingredient, of course, is some cinnamon. So that's all my dry ingredients in there. I'm just going to give it a quick whisk just to move it all around, get all the dry ingredients really well combined. And then to that, I'm going to put some coconut oil. Now, my coconut oil, as you will know, is solid at room temperature. So I'm going to treat it exactly like I would butter in a crumble. I'm going to put it all in and I'm just going to rub the mixture in with my fingers. So exactly the same, it's going to melt a bit in my hands, but I'm just going to mix it all up. The reason that I came up with this recipe is because I've got friends and family who don't have gluten and dairy in their diet for whatever reason. So this was a really nice way to allow them to enjoy the same things that the rest of us did. It was really important. I've always been a big food person. That's how I share life with people. So making sure that everyone's catered for is always high on my priorities list. I also, at the recent time that we're living in the current situation with things running out in stores, I also became very aware that I wanted to still cook crumbles and cook nice things like that for my family and for any friends who I was cooking for. So I had to then find alternatives to flour and butter. And that was another reason that I thought this crumble was a really, really good idea. So all I'm doing here, like you would with a normal crumble, is I'm just pressing, using my fingertips, and I'm just pressing the oil to break it down and mix it up with the other ingredients and just rubbing it in exactly like you would a normal crumble with butter. And that is almost ready. I'm just going to keep squeezing those last few bits. Now, I have found with this crumble that it doesn't actually need to be on as high a heat, that it can burn a lot more easily. So with my other crumbles, I will normally cook them on about 170, 180 normally, where this one I'm going to actually cook it on 160, 170, depends on your oven. So my oven gets a bit hot, so I'm going to cook it a little bit cooler, but I would recommend this goes in at 170 rather than 180, just slightly cooler. And it will go in for a longer time because my apples aren't cooked. So they'll take about 30 to 40 minutes for the whole crumble to get done. Don't forget, if you've got value from this, if you've enjoyed my videos, do like this video and do subscribe to the channel. It always encourages me to have people like and comment and subscribe. And obviously, if you wanted me to make anything specifically for you, let me know in the comments and I will get working on it for you. Right, I think now my crumble mix is ready. So all I'm going to do, you can see that it's looking as breadcrumby as you can be without the flour and the butter. But the oats give it a lovely crunch and the almonds just give it a very subtle bit of nuttiness flavour. You can, if you want to, you can put some chopped almonds into there. You can put some caramel on top of the apples before you put this in. You can do a whole host of variations of your apple crumble. But for today, I wanted to share with you a very basic apple crumble recipe. So that's my crumble mix ready. So I'm just going to tip it all onto my apples. And then I'm going to bung it in my oven, which has been preheating while I've been making this for, like I said, about half hour. Now, the easiest way I find, rather than trying to spread it out, so there's my big pile of crumble in the middle, and I'm just going to push it into the corners like that to get it in. And there you go. That is my vegan crumble ready to go in the oven. I'm going to put it in and I will see you when I pull it out on the other side. So my crumble is out of the oven. It smells divine, absolutely amazing. Now the way I like my apples in the filling is not for it to be, get my words out, for it not to be too mushy and too soft. I like them to hold their shape a little bit. So that's why I don't cook my apple crumble too long, because I want it to still hold the shape and give me a little bit of extra texture within the crumble. So let's dig in, time to dig in. So the crumble you will find is not going to be super crunchy. So my apples, you can see, are still fairly firm. And this crumble is just falling apart all around it. Look at that. So normally I love my crumble with custard. It's beautifully thick and absolutely luxurious for me. But today, for a change, I feel like having it with some ice cream. So I've obviously, because I've made this vegan, I have therefore got some dairy-free ice cream to go with it. And there you have it, vegan apple crumble with dairy-free ice cream. Absolutely gorgeous, nutty, toasty, cinnamony, just absolutely divine. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like below and subscribe, and I shall see you next Friday again for more free from videos.